The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some independent OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to healthy living and weight loss will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may contain income or earnings representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. OPTAVIA makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with OPTAVIA results from successful sales efforts, which requires hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Please see the OPTAVIA income disclosure statement for statistics on actual earnings of coaches under the U.S. compensation plan, which differs from the international compensation plan. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to OPTAVIA's Trilogy presentation, Transformation Stories. My name's Joanna Mitchell, and I am an independent certified OPTAVIA health coach. That is my awesome husband, my hot husband, who's that man candy on my arm, and we are parents to 6 amazing kids. I started this journey 5 years ago, and when I started this journey, I was probably in the most broken place in my life. I started believing the lie that this was as good as it was going to get, as good as it was going to get in our finances, in our emotional health, in our relational health, and in our physical health. I was broken, and I stayed in a pattern, in a cycle of defeat. But enter OPTAVIA, enter my health coach, and I started on my health journey, just wanting to get some weight off, having no idea what was possible. I got on this journey and I lost an incredible amount of weight, but what I gained in that process was even more epic. I gained hope, I gained power, I gained confidence, I got my sexy back. Y'all, I was raising 6 kids at this time with a husband who was bedridden from a disease for 5 years. I thought, and nothing was possible. And when I stepped into this and gained one victory in this area that I stayed completely stuck in, I started believing anything was possible. And that started a snowball effect of me wanting to create victory after victory after victory after victory, not even in my own life, but in the lives of others. So I decided to start coaching. Here's the funny thing. When I started coaching, I thought, oh, this will be a great way for us to just make up the gap between my husband's salary and his disability check. Well, that blew right by. So then we get in and my husband goes through rehab and learns to walk again and has a surgery, and he decides he's going to go off to medical school. So now this mama, homeschool mom of 6, who all I have ever done was be a mom. I got pregnant in my senior year of college, 6 weeks after we got married. Now I suddenly became sugar mama, and I was terrified. But because of this community, because of the training, because of the leadership development, I had people surrounding me and believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. And I was able to rise up and grow and turn into a leader and a developer and an equipper and awakener of people. And it has set me on fire. And I was able to provide for my husband to go to school while still being home with my kids. Y'all, that's freedom. And so I am super excited tonight to talk with you a little bit about who we are and what we have to offer. So let me start with our story. We are, actually in the far right, that is Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson. He is our co-founder and medical director. He was one of the first critical care doctors in America, and he became sick and tired of putting out fires in the hospital. He was ready. He had a vision and a passion to want to create health before it ever happened, before disease ever happened. So he walked away from it all to join our parent company in creating a system that was bulletproof to empower and equip people to move towards optimal health. Our parent company, we've been around for 30 years. We're publicly traded. So what is our passion? Our passion is developing lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. So let's back it up a second. We are in an all-time crisis in this country in health. At this point right now, obesity has tripled since 1975, and more people are dying from obesity than they are from being underweight. Almost a third of adults with partners are claiming that the major source of conflict is finances in their relationships, and 69% of workers are stressed over their finances. We are in a state of disarray and dishealth. But enter OPTAVIA and enter this amazing program and this amazing system that we have to offer that is a bulletproof plan that comes with 4 beautiful components that synergistically work together. When you work with OPTAVIA, when you decide to become a client, you get a coach. You get someone who's going to be your biggest cheerleader and your biggest fan. You get to dive into the Habits of Health transformational system, which is the foundation for developing habits and changing the way you think. You get to be part of our amazing, rockin' awesome community. And I will tell you right now, there's no other community on earth like this one. And you get to utilize our feelings. Our feelings are beautiful training wheels to assist your body with the right portions, right portion size and the right nutrients to assist your body into a fat burn and to make you empower you to have predictable results. It is a absolute synergistic bomb in order to reach your goals. So what does our trilogy of health offer? We have 3 areas. It's healthy mind, healthy body, and healthy finances. I want to take a second to dig in with healthy finances with you and talk about how one way we can offer healthy finances is through becoming a coach and the benefits on what it means to become a coach. When you step into becoming a coach, you are automatically reinforcing your decision to be healthy. When you are bringing people along with you, it is a game changer in your own health journey. You get to pay it forward and make a difference, have impact in people's lives. And you get to leave a legacy. You get to leave a legacy of health in your own family, but a legacy in other families. You get to help create health in families that will go on for generation after generation after generation. Man, if that's not a reason, I don't know what is. So with that, I would so love for BJ Strote to come off mute and share with you a little bit about his story. This guy is a powerhouse. He started coaching only a short time after he became a client, and he is inspiring people and changing lives left and right. Go ahead, BJ.
Joanna, thanks so much for having me on the call. I'm just so grateful to be part of tonight and just humbled and thankful to be here. To say that this past year has been incredible would be a total understatement. Right before Thanksgiving 2018, I started on plan and I lost 100 pounds on plan. And 6 weeks into my plan, I started coaching. My wife and my sister-in-law and my mother-in-law had already seen how plan had impacted me in such a short period of time, and they wanted on. And one of the ways that I knew that I could become a coach, I needed to become a coach, was just because my wife and I would both be on plan together, and we wanted to create some new revenue, some healthy finances like you were speaking about. I loved to be on plan while I was coaching. I was super nervous about it at first though. Any of you out there on plan thinking about coaching and nervous about it? Yeah, put a 4 in the chat. I was right there with you. Absolutely no doubt about it. But here's the thing. There's something about the shared camaraderie about doing it together, pursuing health together, that automatically creates an affinity with your clients. And it was super, super powerful. In fact, I'm not a health expert. Newsflash. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a fitness guru. I'm just a guy who's further down the road to health. And that's what walking with people means. It's not coming with all this expertise. Coaching's been everything I thought it would be and more. Getting to walk alongside people, encourage them, believe for them when they're not yet ready to believe for themselves. Gosh, it's changed so much in my life. To be able to do that is really, really incredible. I could talk about all the benefits of coaching. You and I could have a chat for hours just about that all alone. But the reality is I want to focus on one thing here with the rest of my time. If OPTAVIA vanished tonight, if this tremendous opportunity ceased to exist tomorrow morning when I woke up, what I would miss most isn't the paycheck, although I'm so incredibly thankful. It's not the habits of health, even though they run through my veins like DNA, or like my blood, and like it's wired in my body like DNA. It's not the habits. What I would miss most if OPTAVIA ceased to exist tomorrow morning is this incredible community of coaches. that I have surrounded myself with. Here's why that's surprising to me. I have a wonderful family. I have a church community that I love. We lead small groups there. I have neighbors that we've cultivated deep friendships with. I have great friends. I even have another full-time job. Yet out of all of these other relationships, it doesn't take the place of what I get out of my health coaching community. It really is something that I will forever be grateful for. Every Thursday night we meet for Accelerate. And at Accelerate, we share pieces of our stories. We share things we're learning. We dig into Dr. A's life book together. We share business building activities and even train on other topics. And I look forward to this every single week. Why? Because I need my people. The same thing is true about our coaching opportunity. You are not alone in isolation as a coach. You walk with a mentorship team and a larger team of coaches that are there to encourage, inspire, support, defend you and your why for coaching. It is incredible. I need my people. Are we building individual businesses when we meet together on Thursday night? Yeah, there's very few of us that get together with any financial incentive to be there for one another. OPTAVIA has brought strangers together that have become friends because we're united around one thing, sharing the hope of plan with as many people as will listen. Is coaching incredible? Absolutely. In the past year, my wife, Kat, and I have helped over 75 people lose over 2,000 pounds in 1 year as coaches. Totally incredible. Hear this, bigger than any accomplishment that we could have as coaches. I am so grateful. I am most proud of the community of coaches that I serve with. I am different as a result of this community. So what does that mean for you? Here's what I'm telling you. Get in on it. Don't miss out on it. This community is for you. And when you get in, lean in, dig in, offer yourself, be vulnerable, pour yourself out, because this community is there for you. Here's the thing. When we meet on Thursday night, we grow our businesses. There is no doubt about that. But what we realize more than that is that we are growing as people, seeking to make a difference in the world by living our lives out loud together. And it is just so good. Thank you so much, Joanna.
Wow, BJ, that was absolutely incredible. And I could not be more honored to call you friend and business partner, and to get to grow with you and learn with you and transform with you, and then go out and awaken and equip other people. So thank you so much for sharing tonight. So let me share with you a little bit about our progressive growth model. What I love about our coaching model is that you can come in and you are fully going to be autonomy supported. What does that mean? We are going to listen to you. Your coach is going to listen to you and what your goals are, what you want to accomplish, how much time you have. So you can come in as an OPTAVIA coach just wanting to help a few people. That's awesome. But what I suspect will happen is what happens with most people is that you're going to start coaching a few clients and you're going to start getting a bug. You are going to want these people start knowing, hey, you becoming a coach is going to be the best option for long-term success. Your long-term success plan is coaching, and you're going to want those clients to start coaching. And then all of a sudden you're going to wake up and you're going to be a business coach. And you're not going to do that alone. You're going to have a coach alongside of you to train you and equip you and empower you to be a business coach. And lo and behold, there'll be more coaches and more people that you're helping. And one day, as you're developing your leadership skills, you're stepping out there, you're helping more people, you're going to find you've turned into a business leader and you're building leaders. That is what you get to become. You get to become a leader of leaders. And man, if you had told me 5 years that that was going to be me, I would have laughed. But the reason I'm here today and leading leaders is because I had people in this community surround me, believe in me, equip me, and cheer me on. And we get more training and more pouring into than anything I've ever experienced. So next up, oh my goodness, I get to introduce to you another amazing friend and business partner, Matt Christenot. Matt is an amazing father, amazing husband, and also owns a Taekwondo studio. And I cannot wait for you to hear his story. So Matt, go ahead.
Hey, Joanna. Hey, thank you so much for having me on this call. And it's just a huge honor to be here. And, my story with coaching and OPTAVIA started 2 years ago when I watched my wife have an incredible transformation, not just physically, but in her whole person. And a little bit, about myself, like Joanna said, I own a martial arts studio. I've been training martial arts for about 15 years in Taekwondo and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I love that business. And one of the things about my business is that it's a fitness, industry. And so this time of year in January, what do people want to do? They want to get healthy. They want to lose weight. And so every year we go through this January cycle of people flooding in wanting to accomplish these goals. But the dirty secret of the fitness industry is it doesn't always work. It rarely ever works because the underlying habits never change. And so once again, I was in that cycle of watching my clients and students kind of spin their wheels and work hard. And my only answer is to work them harder, right? If I'm not seeing the change. And then I'm watching my wife on one hand, shred the weight with little to no exercise, have this amazing transformation, watching my clients and students not have a whole lot of movement, in that way. And I got super intrigued, and so me as the fitness expert went to my wife like, what are you doing again? Tell me a little bit more about what you're doing. And, and so just through observing her and then watching her interact with the OPTAVIA community, I knew I had to jump on. I knew I had to see what this was about. And so we jumped full into coaching, introduced that into our business. And guess what? Magic started happening, lives started changing, and people started finally building healthy habits. And that weight started coming off of my clients and students. And so that was an amazing thing. So I'd say the first thing that coaching did for me was it put in my hands a very simple and predictable tool that I could hand to somebody else and help them change themselves. It wasn't me like being their hero. It wasn't me being their drill sergeant, the martial arts instructor, telling them what to do. It was letting them take 100% responsibility for their health journey, but providing them the tool that would help them to do it. So that was the first thing that coaching has done for me. Personally at that time in our lives, things weren't all great. We were feeling really stuck, not only, kind of physically, but financially we were feeling stuck. It had been so long since we had even dreamed about what a life of abundance would look like. We were kind of, our dreams were dead. We weren't thinking big. All we knew was we wanted to show up a certain way in the world and have an impact, and it wasn't happening. We weren't feeling it. We were feeling just beat down, honestly. And we were kind of living paycheck to paycheck. We were kind of what I call downwardly mobile, where instead of moving up every year, we were kind of every year was just a little bit worse and a little bit worse. And that was right around the time we started coaching. And, so things were starting to look up because, you see a little bit of financial freedom coming from OPTAVIA every month, and it's starting to get a little bit optimistic and hopeful. And so, as the more I was coaching, I wanted to experience program myself. And I didn't have a huge weight loss need, but I knew I was feeling run down and ragged. I was having energy issues, just having trouble getting through the day. So I decided to jump on program. And my wife was my coach. I don't know if that's always a good idea for everybody, but, we managed it. So, and without killing each other. But, so this is where my story kind of takes a turn. And so on my first day of program, I started 5 and 1. I was, I think, 3 fuelings into my day. I had talked to Jay and Joanna Mitchell are our coaches. I had talked to Jay the night before when we kicked off, and I was gung-ho to start my health journey. And the phone rang, and I got one of the worst phone calls of my entire life. See, my dad, who was my rock and my hero, after a very short but intense battle with depression and anxiety, actually took his own life. And that was the phone call I received on day 1 of my OPTAVIA health journey. And that just rocked my world, and I don't remember a whole lot about the next 3 months, to be quite honest with you. Like, it's all kind of a blur. I kind of remember a little bit, but I know that everything felt really out of control. I could not control people's reactions. I couldn't control the consequences. I couldn't control my emotions. I wasn't really controlling my eating either, even though I've never really had a problem with that. But when I got back and I dialed in, what I found that OPTAVIA gave me was it gave me something that I could hold on to, something that I could take responsibility for, because I could not take responsibility for what happened, but I could take responsibility for what I put into my mouth. That was 100% of my control. And that little piece of control started to have a ripple effect into the rest of my life, where I realized that I wasn't a victim, but I was a victor. Life wasn't happening to me, it was happening for me. And that's when I realized the true gift of coaching, because I could feel something shifting inside of me. And I like to say there was like, it felt like there was new channels of just compassion and empathy for people that were hurting. And there was just something new happening. And I knew in that moment that OPTAVIA coaching was going to be the tool that was going to allow me to offer hope to people who were hopeless. I don't have time to go back to school to be a psychiatrist. I don't, to be a doctor and prescribe pills, but this was a tool. It was like in my hands. I had it. I knew the hope that it had brought me. I knew the control that it gave me back in my life. And I knew that I needed to offer it to as many people as I possibly could. And so the second thing that OPTAVIA gave me was it gave me deep purpose. It gave me a way to show up in the world, a mission to join, and something to give my life to. And I'm so grateful for that. And so we are gung-ho 100% about this journey, about offering this hope to everyone we come into contact with. Thanks, Joanna.
I mean, thank you, Matt. Thank you for sharing from a place of vulnerability and authenticity. And yes, again, like, I hope you hear a theme here. Community, hope, redemption. I mean, that is what takes place when people step into this mission, step out, get out of their own stinking ways, and are willing to bring people along with them and offer hope and equip them towards freedom. So how does this work for coaches? How does this all go down? Well, here's what's so fun. It is a relational model, and it's focused on well-being. You're not out there just being some salesperson selling and making cold calls. You are developing authentic relationships with people, living your life out loud, and assisting people and offering hope to people. And when they're ready, they come to you. You get to be self-employed and independent. You can do this full-time or part-time. It is a low startup. Man, one of my best friends, they've started I don't even know how many businesses. And the one thing I remember hearing them say over and over is the cost involved. Matt could even tell you the cost involved in starting up a business. This is a measly $200, $200 that not only has the potential to drastically change your life, but impact and change the lives of hundreds and thousands of people. You get to have flexible business hours. You can work from anywhere. I did this business while on the road with my 6 kids, my husband, and 2 dogs and a camper for 3 months, and I grew this business. That's freedom. That's fun. You don't have quotas. You don't have monthly purchases required. And you, as you've heard already before, get training and support that is bar none. So finally, I get to share with you another dear friend and another business partner. This girl, I have watched her transformation from the first day she said yes to being a client to now becoming a business coach. And it's been amazing. I've known this girl since she was 13. So I cannot wait for you to hear Korrine and her story of redemption. Go ahead, girl.
Hey, everybody. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. Not only because you're all so awesome and all these people we've been talking with are so awesome, but honestly, I'm most excited because I know what's on the other side of this call. For those of you who are here, just to kind of see what this thing is all about. I know when I started my health journey, I kind of was under the impression that I needed willpower. I needed if I was either ready to change or I wasn't. But the truth for me was I had the determination. I wanted the change. I was desperate for the change, but no matter what I did, it wasn't working. I mean, you name a plan, I tried it. I had lap band surgery, but I would always just lose weight only to gain it back and then some. That is until OPTAVIA. I remember the day. I remember the moment that I saw Joanna's story on Facebook, and I remember how I felt. It was like, when a match strikes against a matchbox and that spark that first happens, that was what kind of happened in my heart. It was like a spark of hope. And it kind of screamed out to me, like, maybe this actually is possible. Like, maybe this really could happen for me. So got on a call, said, yes, I want to invest in my health now so I don't have to invest in my sickness later. And I did give myself a little bit of an out. I said, okay, well, at least if this doesn't work, I can genuinely say I've tried everything. Because at that point, I had tried everything. But I'm here because it worked. I've lost over 100 pounds. I've lost something like 84 inches from my body, which is like a 7-foot tall person. It's kind of crazy to me. But the outward, what you see, the transformation that you saw on the outside is just a depiction of the changes that happened on the inside for me. When I started my journey, I was a mom of 5. 3 of my kids have some different special needs, working 50 to 60 hours a week in ministry. And I was crippled by anxiety. I couldn't drive. I couldn't sometimes go to the grocery store without having a panic attack. Most nights I would lay in bed and I would just have adrenaline coursing through my veins and tears literally streaming from my face because the anxiety was so intense and I didn't know how it was ever going to end. But here's the amazing thing. That was my story for a little while. That was my reality for a time, but it wasn't meant to be my reality forever. And thanks to OPTAVIA, I can say that I have a much better picture. I have a much clearer picture today. The crazy thing though is that it wasn't the yes that I gave to my health journey that actually really truly began that transformation. It was about 6 months into my health journey and I knew I had found it. I had found the golden ticket. And I remember when I decided to coach, I felt a little bit like Charlie and Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, which I know sounds a little silly, but I had my golden ticket and I wanted to run through the streets telling everybody about it and just helping as many people as possible. And I knew that it would almost be wrong for me not to share it. And so I started my journey. It didn't actually make sense at the time. I'm sure for some of you, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense in your head. And for me, I was, like I said, working 50 to 60 hours a week, had 5 kids, and I started coaching. I started my master's degree in leadership the very same week. So the people around me were like, what are you doing? But that spark that had happened when I saw Joanna's story, it was now a full-on blaze. And I'm like, okay, I'm digging in. And so I need training I could be on, any personal development I could engage in, any event I could go to, I was there. And I can tell you that about a year into my coaching journey, I was like, why am I even in school? Why am I getting my master's degree for leadership? I'm getting more leadership training from OPTAVIA than I am from my master's degree coursework. And so the beauty of all of this is that I was genuinely in the deepest and darkest valley of my life, but I wouldn't have it any other way if I had to go back and do it all over again, because it was in that valley that I found OPTAVIA. And if I had to kind of put what coaching is for me and what coaching can be for so many people, it would be this quote right here. Only if you've been in the deepest valley can you ever know how magnificent it is to be on the highest mountain. From that valley, with Joanna, with my family, my OPTAVIA family, with the tools, with the trainings, I was able to climb myself out of that valley. And now I'm on my own pinnacle of hope, my very own Everest that I get to continue to climb. And from that pinnacle, I get to look back down and I get to say to people, we can do this. You got this. You're not stuck. There's the answer. There's a way. And now my picture looks quite different. I'm still a mom of 5. My kids still have needs, but I get to homeschool them. I'm not working 50 to 60 hours a week. My husband, he gets to pick the jobs he wants to take rather than the jobs that he has to take. And I have a family of coaches and a family of people who are there for me in a way that nobody ever has been. So I just invite you to get up out of your valley and climb that mountain. Thank you, Joanna.
Thank you so much, Korrine, for sharing. And again, I cannot say what an honor it is to know, be friends with, and call these 3 outstanding people business partners. And that's what this is about. That's what this health coaching thing is about. We get to do this together. So as we conclude, I just want to spend a few more minutes talking about the type of support, which I don't think you really need it because you heard it loud and clear tonight, but you will be offered if you decide to step into this. You will be given comprehensive training and you get to learn as you earn. This is not something, if you are thinking, I don't know enough, I don't understand enough, I'm telling you right now, it's okay. All you need is a willingness to serve, a love for people, and a passion to see people find freedom. The rest of the learning is going to learn as you earn. It's going to come as you go. You're going to be surrounded by people who will equip you and fill in the gaps. You will be working with a coach and a mentorship team. You are going to be an apprentice and you're going to get to work at your own pace. And there are going to be so many opportunities for learning and growing. You're not going to know what to do with yourself. So don't let the learning factor be your issue. My question is, what's next for you? I love to say your story is not written yet, and I don't believe your OPTAVIA journey is done. I believe wholeheartedly, without a shadow of a doubt, that the next best step for almost every client is to bring a few people along with them and partner with your coach in coaching. Your long-term success plan is coaching. And so I challenge you to take the step. I dare you to take the step. Dare you take the leap. You will not regret it. Join our mission. Come along with us. It will be a game-changing decision. Thank you, everyone, and have a great evening.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some independent OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may have contained income or earnings representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. OPTAVIA makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with OPTAVIA results from successful sales efforts, which requires hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Please see the OPTAVIA income disclosure statement for statistics on actual earnings of coaches under the U.S. compensation plan, which differs from the international compensation plan. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.